So we're exploring the foundations of mindfulness, the discourse on the 4 foundations of mindfulness, which is often known as the direct path to liberation. And in this frame, we're going to look at the first part of the first foundation. So the first foundation, as we talked about, is the body. And the first part of this foundation is mindfulness of breathing. So let's explore the breath as it relates to the body. And let's also explore how the first 4 exercises of mindful breathing can bring about ease and freedom in our lives. So by virtue of being rooted in the present moment, in the here and now, the body provides a gateway or a portal into presence, into mindfulness. It serves as the first foundation of mindfulness because in a sense it provides the substrate of our entire experience. We do not exist apart from our body. When we're mindful, when we're fully present, the body and mind are together. So I recently attended a workshop where Dr. Peter Levine, who is widely recognized for his groundbreaking discoveries in the body's role of healing trauma, he said that you cannot be in the present moment, in the here and now, if you're disconnected from the body. And yet we so often disconnect from the body. We get distracted and our mind goes somewhere else. It's like we become addicted to thinking, and we get caught up in this mental world of ours. We get caught up in desires, worries, fears. This is what my teacher Tara Brach calls the trance. We leave the body. Or when we enter into our virtual worlds, our digital worlds, we sit in front of the computer, the screens, our devices, and we forget the body. We so often leave and forget the body. So the practice of mindfulness is largely about bringing the mind back home to the body, restoring this balance. So it's a practice of embodiment, and it's a practice of becoming fully alive as this incarnation of ours. One of the first instructions within this foundation is to begin to bring mindfulness to the breath. So the breath is, in a sense, the way that we begin to enter into the contemplation of the body. It's often considered the easiest way to bring our attention and intention to the experience of the body. And what's wonderful about the breath is that it's always there. It's always available for us to bring attention and intention and clear comprehension to the experience of the breath. And it's also a good way to cultivate concentration. So as we practice with the breath, the following steps and the other meditations become easier. So in other words, the breath is a very good starting point for the way of mindfulness. So how do we begin to practice mindfulness of breathing? Well, first we simply sit down and we bring our attention and intention to the inflow and the outflow of the breath. So we simply watch as the breath enters the body and as it leaves the body. Breathing in, I know that I'm breathing in. Breathing out, I know that I'm breathing out. It's so simple and yet so powerful. So in a way we learn to enjoy the simplicity of watching the breath. And there's no need to control the breath. We simply bring our full concentration to the breath. And we release everything else. There's no past, there's no future, no worries, no shoulds. And there's great freedom in this. Even few moments of mindful breathing can begin to clear up some space. And in this space there is freedom. So we practice bare knowing of the breath. And this is a phrase that the Buddha kept on repeating throughout the foundations. And it refers to a simple and direct knowing of the experience in the present moment, without getting lost in stories about it. Without getting lost in interpretations and thoughts and projections. Simply seeing the breath as it is. No need to control the breath. And this seeing clearly is in fact the meaning of the Pali term vipassana, which is often translated as insight meditation. The second exercise of mindful breathing is to follow the full cycle of the breath. So we bring our full attention and uninterrupted concentration to the inhalation all the way until the end, and we follow the out-breath all the way until the end, all the way until it naturally turns into the next inhalation. Without the need to control, so we simply follow, we simply note. If the breath is deep, I notice the breath is deep. If the breath is shallow, I simply notice the breath is shallow. So in a way, we learn to trust the body. We trust that the body knows how to breathe. And we learn to follow. We learn to follow the breath, and we actually, in a sense, make the breath into our master. Right? We simply follow along with the breath. And this is a wonderful and effective way to cultivate concentration and to establish continuity of mindfulness. And it's also pleasant. So in a sense, we're learning to simply enjoy sitting down and following the cycle of the breath. The third exercise is to become aware of the entire body as we breathe. So breathing in, we're aware of the entire body. And breathing out, we're aware of the entire body. We remain aware with the physical sensations in the body as we breathe. So with this exercise, we begin to enter into the somatic field of the body. We experience the body from the inside, and we start bringing the mind home to the body, and the mind becomes embodied. So in this third exercise, we begin to realize the oneness between the body and the mind. As part of the fourth exercise of mindful breathing, we begin to soothe and relax the activity of the body. So as you sit and you breathe and you put awareness into the body, you may notice a lot of tension, sometimes even pain and suffering. So we can use the breath, breathing in, relaxing the activity of the body, and breathing out, relaxing and releasing the tension in the body. So over time, as the body relaxes, there's more ease and there's also more enjoyment. And first of all, the mind can become sharper, so we can see more subtler and subtler aspects of the breath. This is the bare knowing of the breath on a deeper level. And also we were able to establish more continuity of mindfulness, of this remembrance. So these four exercises of mindful breathing, they help us to take care of our bodies by finding stillness, ease, and concentration. And they also help us establish mindfulness of the body to the extent necessary for insight, for clear seeing, and for continuous mindfulness, continuity of presence. And these are the same two qualities that we need in the further steps of the contemplation of the body. So this will be the topic of the next frame.